Hey guys, I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk to you about the different muscle groups that you will be working anytime that you are focusing on the lower body strength. Okay, now just like with any other part of your body, upper body included, there is always a muscle group that is working the front part as well as a muscle group that is working the back part behind a bone. Okay, and they typically are doing the opposite of what the other muscle group is doing. So that being said, it's very important to work both muscle groups, because if you have a strong frontal muscle group but a weak back muscle group, you're going to be very imbalanced. Okay, so let's talk about the different muscle groups. On the front of your legs, you have your quadriceps. This is the large muscle group that covers your femur. Okay. Now on the back, you have what we call our hamstring muscle group. Okay, so this is right here where we have our frontal group and the posterior group. Okay. Now how do they work opposing each other? I'll give you a good example. If you lift your leg up and extend your foot out, you should feel your quadriceps tightening. Okay. Now keeping that leg up, if you now bring the leg back, you should feel the tightening now here in your hamstrings. Okay. If we move down the leg, of course you have your calf muscles. Now the very front of your leg here also has muscles over top of the bone. And the way that these two counteract each other is in movements involving the ankle. Okay, so whenever you point your toe down, you should actually feel more tension here in the front of your calf. Okay, and then when you flex your toe up, you would feel more tension here in the back of your calf. So how do we work both of those muscle groups? Obviously, we all know about the calf raises, right? And that will work the back of your muscle groups. Okay, you can, of course, add a little bit of a rocking motion, which also helps to stretch out the front of your calves. And then lastly, we have your hip flexors. Okay, those are muscles that extend here across your hip as well as down this way. Okay, so what those allow you to do is move the hip joint both front and back, side to side, and in circular motions. Okay, so each of those different movements is also important to develop your hip flexors in different ways. Okay, so I think we went through the different muscle groups pretty well. Remember, you have quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, both back and front, and your hip flexors. Okay, let's talk a little bit about form. Some common mistakes I see when people are working their lower body are as follows. Okay, when you're doing a lunge, for example, sometimes I see people bring their knee out in front of their lower toe. Okay, you should have more of a 90-degree angle in both legs and the knee behind that front toe. Another thing I see in the lunge position is leaning over. Okay, notice how I keep my chest and head up, straight, looking in front of me, parallel with the wall in front of me. Okay, another mistake that I see is with squats. Same idea with the knees. When people squat, sometimes they tend to bring those knees out in front of them. Instead, you want to keep in mind the image of sitting down into a chair. Okay, when you go to sit down in a chair, you're putting your butt back. Okay, so if you approach the squat in that way, you can see now my knees are much more in line behind that front toe. Again, sometimes you'll see the rounding of the back. This puts a lot of pressure on your lower back. You want a nice straight back, head up, looking straight forward. Okay. All right, guys, I hope that was very helpful for you today. Gave you a little bit of insight into what the different muscle groups are and how you can work them out. And I hope you enjoy today's workout. And please don't forget to post when you have completed it. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.